Joseph Wright of Derby was an artist who chronicled this moment of profound change. He's not often associated with the Gothic imagination, but his best work is infused with a thoroughly Gothic sense of wonder and terror at the new ascendancy of science. Never more so than in his Experiment on a Bird in an Air Pump of 1768.
At first sight, you might say, what's Gothic about it? Its subject, after all, is science, an episode from the Enlightenment. A prosperous father of a family has invited into his home a scientist. And the scientist's job is to explain what happens to a living organism when it is deprived of oxygen. Hence the bird in the bell jar. Hence the air pump with its handle, which he has been turning in order to withdraw the air from the jar so that the bird slowly suffocates. It's still just fluttering, but its time is running out. The little girl looks up with fear and dismay in her eyes. Her slightly older sister can't bear to look at all, while the father comforts both of them and directs them towards knowledge, acceptance, truth. And yet, is that really the subject of this painting? Look at the way in which Wright of Derby has rather cleverly, rather subtly turned this into a haunted house, made this the scene from a kind of modern Gothic novel. The whole scene is lit spectrally with the sinister light. Does that really look like a man of reason? Or does that look like a magus, a charismatic, perhaps some strange form of modern priest who is aiming to bewitch us with some new fears, some new superstition? What's going on in that jar? The bird resembles the dove of the Holy Spirit in ancient altarpieces. So God is being killed by science? Is science benevolent? Or is science the source of new fears, new terrors, a new sense of darkness? Those are the questions with which Gothic writers, painters, thinkers, architects, poets, those are the problems they would wrestle with for the next 100 years and more.
The prolific Wright of Derby painted many subjects that explored the tension between old world faith and mystery and the new age of reason. First he gives us, beneath crumbling ruins reclaimed by the forces of nature, a skeleton risen from the grave. It beckons an old man towards the fate that awaits us all. Then, in a gloomy lamplit cave, a natural philosopher ponders the meaning of life and death. But Wright was also the very first artist to paint a modern factory, a sinister block-like presence in the moonlit countryside, all the more unnatural because its lights are on. Modern industry has people working day and night. That had never happened before.